That's the one.
Kia ora team, and welcome back to Big Boys Boxing. I'm Jono, your host. Be sure that you hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe and the bell icon on your way in, so not to miss future content. So, Andy Ruiz has an opponent. It is Tyrone Spong, unbeaten, 14-0. Not quite what we were expecting. Most of us thought it was going to be Luis Ortiz, pay-per-view, PBC in America. But this fight is going to be in Mexico. It's on Triller, and it's going to be on the 16th of July. So, we'll get into the opponent first. Many of you may have heard of Tyron Spong, but don't know who he is. He is 14-0 with 13 KOs. He hits hard enough. I'm not sure who's training him or anything at the moment, but I think people are a little bit dismissive of this dude. This guy was supposed to be fighting Alexander Usyk before Usyk got injured. Or did Spong actually pop 30 for something? I can't even remember, to be honest. But his last couple fights have been down in Mexico. His last fight was against a guy who was 14-1-1. Jason Minda, his name was, by the looks of it. Excuse me if I have butchered that. He knocked him out in the second round. So yeah, he's got a bit of pop. His fight before that was his only fight that went the distance, went the 10 rounds, and it was against a guy, Yalo Pereira. Don't know who the dude is. He had a record of 11-3-2. Now, as you can see with the stats, he is 6'2" with a 74.5-inch reach. So he's not a huge heavyweight, but he's not that small, mind you. He's about the same size as Andy Ruiz. So as you can see here with Andy Ruiz, he's 34-2. He's listed at 6'2", but I think he's closer to 6'1" myself. He's also got a 74-inch reach, so the stats are very, very similar. Andy Ruiz's last fight, as we all know, was Chris Arreola. Andy Ruiz did get dropped in that fight, but he won every other round in the fight. Still, he didn't look that great. At the time, Chris Arreola's 38-6-1. Well past his best. And before that, for Andy Ruiz, was the two Anthony Joshua's fights. The last one he had against Joshua, he lost on points. The one before that was the famous one, what got Andy Ruiz pretty famous. He was 3-belt unified champion for a short time. So yeah, it is what it is. There is an article about this from BoxRec, but it doesn't really give you a lot of information. I'll leave it in the description anyway, so you can read it and make your own determinations. I noticed a couple of comments at the bottom of the article there about, oh, this is a crap fight, don't expect anything from Andy Ruiz, expect his next fight to be crap too. But Tyrone Spong is unbeaten. He's got 13 out of 14 KOs. He hasn't had a decent fight against anybody yet. So I don't think you can count Tyrone Spong out completely without even knowing too much about him. I suggest you try and find some fights to watch. There won't be many though, because he hasn't fought any decent opponents on any decent cards that I'm aware of. So yeah, I'm going to reserve judgment until I see these guys in the ring, because personally I know Andy Ruiz has fast hands, but I don't think he actually hits that hard. He hits hard enough, but it's always a question of motivation with Andy Ruiz. Is he really that committed to the sport? He seems to think that his weight is gonna determine how committed he is to the sport. No, that's not how it goes. If you're committed to the sport, your weight comes naturally. He's left Eddie Reynoso. I'm not even sure who's training him right now. He's a bit all over the place. He's been posting on social media asking who you want to see him to fight, and then he goes and fights somebody that hardly anybody knows. I don't know, man. It's down in Mexico anyway. He's always wanted to fight down in Mexico. I don't think he has. Just scrolling through the record here, I think all his fights have been in the US, besides the a couple. I think he fought one in China against Torheimer. It was in Japan or China or somewhere. He obviously fought Joseph Parker in New Zealand, and he fought Anthony Joshua in Saudi. But everything else that I'm looking at here is, oh no, what's this? We got one down here. I don't even know that flag. Oh, Macau. Oh, that's where he fought Torhammer, was it? Yeah, it was. It was in Macau. Or Macau, however you want to pronounce it. So he has had a couple of fights outside the States, but being of Mexican descent, he really wanted to get a fight down in Mexico, so here's his opportunity to look good. But it's a potential banana skin, I think. He could go down there wanting to look spectacular in front of all his Mexican heritage relatives and whatnot. He could end up getting beaten up here. It's just Tyron Spong hits pretty hard. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Let us know your thoughts. Is it really that bad a fight for Andy Ruiz? And are you disappointed that he's not fighting Luis Ortiz? I mean, it's a decent fight, but I'm really not that disappointed that I'm not going to see Luis Ortiz in the ring against Andy Ruiz. I don't really care too much for Luis Ortiz at the moment. I'd like to see the Ortiz fight Derek Chisora. That'd be a great fight. But we've got Andy Ruiz Jr. v Tyron Spong on the 16th of July in Mexico. Let us know your thoughts and we'll get some conversation going. So, I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace!